See, going to a trade show like Printing United is simply amazing because, first of all, you meet a lot of different types of people. It is like OEMs, it is vendors, it's customers, it's printers, it's influencers, and you see hardware, you see software, you see, I mean, basically everything that makes this industry actually work. And right now I'm going to talk to Max from Marathon in Nebraska. Max, good to see you.
It's good to see you. Good to see you. Terrific.
This is the first time we meet, but I already understand that the use that you have with SpencerMetrics, getting the data out of this, and you're a photo printer, or what
Yes.
did you do? Yeah.
We're a photobook printer. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you don't make a lot of the same copies, right? Most of them are just like one-offs, right?
Yeah. Everything is definitely print on demand, one-off product. Yes.
I mean, I always amazed by people that can do it because, I mean, think about 10, 15 years ago, that would be an impossible task, right? Everything would be handheld, everything would be hand-bound, everything would be really expensive. But now you can automate a lot of things, but then you need accurate data, right?
Yes, we need very accurate data, and that's where SpencerMetrics played a huge role for us. We use SpencerMetrics on a daily basis to generate basically our processes on what's going to happen next. It signifies to us whether a job is printed or not printed, and it moves it to the next operation, whether it be cutting, binding, lamination, UV coating, you name it, after that process.
So, I mean, we're going to talk about how you use it and with also the flow in a second, but I mean, when you make books, photo books, and you have like, let's say, personal data, you have something that is like, I mean, you cannot put the wrong bride on the front of a book, right? I mean,
Yes,
there's
right.
a lot of accuracy in what you do when you do these kind of products. And I take that not much room for like errors and mistakes, right? So, but SpencerMetrics is not so much about that, right? That is more like giving you an idea of the processes, of where they are, how fast machines are producing, all the data that you can basically get out of the machines, right? So where I mean, just before we talk about SpencerMetrics, tell me a little bit about the processes, how you work.
How we work internally? Yeah, we have a backbone system we use that ingests all of our orders. Once those orders comes in, they're imposed. They're sent to one of our digital pieces of equipment, and once they're there, they're obviously printed on the right substrate, and then SpencerMetrics flags that and says that job is complete. We send that data back to our internal system, which says, hey, let's move it to the next operation down the line. So then we know where those jobs are in our shop throughout the entire process. And then SpencerMetrics obviously gives us a really good sense of uptime, compare it against our other pieces of equipment, so we know what's working, what's not working.
And you know your bottlenecks right away, right?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We know our bottlenecks right away.
Because what I find interesting is because when I spoke to David and his people about SpencerMetrics, I had a long interview with him before the Hunkler Innovation Days, right?
Okay.
And I was just thinking, because I mean, when I spoke to him, I understand that this is not a workflow system. This is a measuring system, basically, right?
Yes.
It takes the data and gives you like input. But you said that it has APIs, so you can interface the data and the measures you get from the system into your workflow system, right?
That's correct.
Is that because it's more accurate to use this kind of way compared to just using let's say the DFEs or let's say assumptions of where you are in the process, or?
It's more being able to compare it, and for us it seems to be more consistent, more accurate, because it is independent and it's writing to that independently of the DFE or of any kind of RIP software. Definitely far superior as far as getting true data that you need.
How long time have you had it?
We've had it for 3 years.
3 years, okay. And what was the time before SpencerMetrics?
It was a nightmare.
A nightmare.
We were printing duplicate books. We were doing a lot of that just because we weren't getting the feedback as fast as we needed it. And when we're printing items that need to be shipped in a day, that's imperative. And if you end up printing things 3 times just because you're not sure, makes it a little costly.
I would say so, and
Yeah.
especially because with photo books, it's not just, sometimes it's expensive paper,
No,
expensive
very.
clicks,
Yes.
expensive lamination, it's expensive processes,
labor.
so that becomes quite expensive, definitely, right?
very much.
So how did you get in contact with SpencerMetrics?
I ran into SpencerMetrics at a D-Scoop event, actually, and they were there, and we got to talking and told them what our problem was, and Vishal and the team here said they can solve it. And they have been the most supportive company that you can work with as far as software goes. They're terrific.
I'm sure they like to have that on camera, right?
No,
that's not too bad, right?
that's the truth. These guys are amazing.
Yeah.
They're great people.
Was it, let's say, sometimes when you talk about software that has like a big influence in a company, it is something often that, not often, but often I hear that people talk about it is very, it requires a lot of changes in how you work. It requires a lot of adaptation to it, and often takes a lot of time to do that. How was the process with SpencerMetrics?
Very, very short. For us, we have integrated purely with our presses, with our digital presses. So that was pretty turnkey. They had that all set up within a week, and started working with the data from an API side within probably 3 weeks.
So they helped you with like a turnkey solution with APIs as well? Yes. And the workflow system that you integrate to, is that like something you homemade, or is it like an off-the-shelf solution?
It's actually, the solution we're using is SiteFlow along with other internal softwares that are using that all together into one big conglomerate process. So
if you look at, I mean, we see the data here, of course, and you're familiar with what you see, of course. I was just wondering, I mean, when you look at a software like SpencerMetrics that gives you all that wealth of information, can you sometimes have like an information overflow, or can you basically like let's say customize it into what you need, or? Yeah,
you can make it do whatever you need it to do. This right here, the interface that normally everybody looks at. Us internally, we do not use this very often. We're actually using the API calls more than anything else for the data to fit our needs of our business, because everybody knows in the print industry, there's a lot of internal homegrown, and this embeds into a lot of that internal homegrown process.
So basically what you say is that they need to interface with a lot of more things that you don't need, basically.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, this is a great thing, especially if I'm showing somebody visually.
Because you're easy to grasp.
It's easy to grasp, easy to read.
Yeah. Okay, got it.
But in the end, most of the data we're using outside of SpencerMetrics for other processes. But if you want to do a snapshot, we have this up next to all of our presses, so they can see it as they're going. But internally, as far as myself, I'm not really looking at this much. I'm looking at the back end that has all that data in one place. So,
what is your position at your company? What do you do?
I'm the owner.
So I mean, the metrics that you're looking at is the bottom line, isn't it?
Typically, yeah.
Oh, yeah, typically. I knew there was something to it, right?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Great
Thank
talking
you.
to you.
Appreciate it.